Okay, so do you want to go ahead and tell me about what happened when you experienced your concussion and everything?
Yeah, I was playing basketball and I went up for a layup and I got hit by somebody, and so I fell on the ground and hit my head pretty good. I didn't pass out or anything, but I was on the floor for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about how long ago did it happen? When was it during the basketball game or just at practice?
Yeah, it was during a game, and it was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so since then, when you fell and hit your head, have you been experiencing any dizziness or headache or maybe even just some blurry vision?
I definitely have a headache almost all the time, and don't really get dizzy, but when I'm like moving around a lot, it
Okay.
kind of bothers me.
So then, with that, have you had any what we call sensitivity to light? So, for example, if you walk outside and it's really bright outside, and as soon as you kind of hit that light, you like want to close your eyes and like your headache gets a little worse or anything like that?
Yeah, I've definitely had that. When my headache will like get worse, yeah, when I'm outside in the light.
Okay, so have you been feeling like you're more tired than usual, or how's that going?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so now that we've kind of talked about some of your symptoms and stuff, I kind of want to just do an exam and check some things, so if you're okay with that. So the first thing I want to check is your sensation. So just making sure you're feeling everything okay. So I'll have you go ahead and close your eyes.
Okay.
And then I'm going to kind of go like this, and then I'm just going to ask you if it feels the same on both sides.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and have you move your hands real quick. Okay, does this feel the same as this?
Yep.
And does that feel the same as that?
Yep.
And does this feel the same as this?
Yes.
And then what about here?
Yep.
Okay, so that all looks good. I'm going to do your arms now. So does this feel the same as this?
Mm-hmm.
And then this feel the same as this? And then here?
Yes.
Okay, and then here. Okay, and then I would check on his skin as well. I haven't taken that off. So then the next thing I would like to check are what we call your reflexes. So I'm going to go ahead and check your knee and then your ankle first. So can I have you kind of put your hands under here just so I have, yep. So just go ahead and relax. Okay, got a response there, that's good. And then I'm going to do your ankle here. Good. So I would go ahead and do the upper extremities and everything else too, but those all look really good. So not having any problems with any of that. So the next thing I want to do is just go ahead and take your blood pressure and your heart rate and then see your breathing rate as well. I just like to go ahead and check those. That way when we start to do some exercise, we can monitor that and make sure everything's normal as well. So I'll check blood pressure, heart rate, respiratory rate. And then the last thing, have you been, since your concussion, have you experienced any like new weakness or anything like that?
Not that I've noticed.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just do some manual muscle tests just to kind of make sure. And then I'd go through, for time's sake, I won't do everything, but check his upper extremities, lower extremities, and all that. But everything seems normal and he's not experiencing any weakness, so we're good with that. So then, now that we've kind of talked about your symptoms, there's a few tests that I would like to do. So the first one he will have done with in the lobby before we started the exam, the activity-specific balance scale. And then his mother's here with him, so I would have her help him fill that out. And then also, if he had any questions, I would go up there and then help explain anything as well. So that one just kind of more subjective, so he would fill that out. But then during the exam, the next one I would do is the sport concussion assessment tool, the third version. So that I know can be done right after a concussion as well, but it's still assessing symptoms, balance, coordination, cognition later. So I do definitely want to do that in the clinic too. So we'd go through that. And then the last one I would do is the dynamic gait index. He mentioned that when he was up walking around, he had some dizziness. So I just would want to assess his gait and then make sure with all of that. So those are the 3 outcome measures that I would use. So then once we've gone through the exam, since we've assessed your symptoms and everything, I want to go ahead and move on to some interventions. So just some exercises and things. But the first thing that I would want to do is I just want to talk to you just kind of about some safety issues with concussion and just making sure that you're staying healthy and everything. So when we have concussions, we have what we call a secondary impact syndrome. So what that means is just if you weren't ready to go back to playing basketball and we released you too soon and you weren't ready, and say you were to fall down and hit your head again, so then hitting your head again can cause some symptoms that are even worse than kind of what you're experiencing now. So we just want to make sure that you're all healthy and you're ready to return to basketball before we go ahead and release you out there. So we'll be doing some exercises and stuff to help with that, but I know it can be hard because you just want to get back in the game and start playing, but just remember how important it is that we make sure you're healthy and you're ready to go before we send you back. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then the other thing is, since you're about 2 weeks out already, I want you to go ahead and start doing some like light walking when you're at home, which I'm going to give you some exercises to send home with you. So I'll tell you about that later, but it's really important that we kind of start getting you into some light exercise, and then we'll just start building it from there, so then you can return back to basketball. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move these chairs real quick. Okay. So for our first intervention, so he mentioned that he was having some dizziness while he's up moving around and stuff. So we have what we call our this little system in our ears, and that's what helps us keeps us balanced. So if that's kind of having some issues, then that could be causing your dizziness. So we're going to do some walking while turning your head, just to kind of challenge that system in there and see if we can't get those symptoms to decrease too. So we'll start back here. Okay, so I'm going to grab a gait belt and then put it around him. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to that. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk about 10 feet, and you're just going to look side to side there. We're just going to kind of assess your symptoms as you do that, and then by us challenging that little system in there that makes you dizzy, we can help decrease those symptoms. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Okay. How are your symptoms with that?
Just a little dizzy.
Okay, we'll go ahead and stop. We'll turn around, and then I just kind of want you to make sure that head turn is just a little slower, and we'll see if that helps, and we'll start there. Okay. How's it going there?
That's better.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep doing that while we're in the clinic here, and just keep challenging that system and make sure those symptoms decrease. So then the next thing I want to do is work on some balance, just because you kind of get some dizziness with movements and everything. And I know that we've tested a little bit of his balance with the sport concussion tool. So we know that his double stance balance and all that is good. So we're going to move on to a little more advanced balance, just because he's young, returning to sport and everything. So I just want to go ahead and practice some of that, just to make sure you're not getting that dizziness with it, and also just make sure you're getting the balance that you had before when you were playing basketball, so then when we go back to playing, then you'll be good to go. Okay, so I'll have you scoot up, and then, so we're skipping the double stance. So the first one I want to have you do, still has a gait belt on, is just a single leg stance, and we're just going to do it on the normal ground. Okay. I'll just have you lift one leg up, keep your eyes open, and we're going to hold it for 30 seconds. Okay, so we'd hold that for 30 seconds, and then we would go to the other leg.
Okay.
So how does that feel?
Good.
So once we've done a couple repetitions of that, I would like to progress it to standing on a foam pad. So we're going to use this pillow today and act like it is a foam surface. So go ahead and just step both feet up there first. Okay. Actually, really quick before we do the foam, I'll have you step off real quick. I forgot. With the normal single leg balance, I want him to practice it with his eyes closed as well. So same thing there, and then just bring your leg up and go ahead and close your eyes. And then we're going to try to hold that for 30 seconds. Yep, you're good. So if at any point, okay, go ahead, relax. We'll do it on the other side. If at any point you feel a little off balance, yeah, you can just touch your toe down and kind of come back up and see if that helps, or if you need to take a step or anything like that. But I'll make sure to be right here. Okay. Okay, so once we've done that with eyes closed a few times, he's mastered that. Then I want to move to the foam pad here. Go ahead and step up there. And then we're going to keep our eyes open during this whole thing. Okay. And then just go ahead and go onto one leg. And then we'll try to do 30 seconds or as long as you can. Again, if you need to touch your toe down, go ahead. And then we'll do that on the other side as well, just kind of progressing some balance. So then the last thing I would like to try, I'll go ahead and have you step up, is since we might need to back up for this. Sorry. Since we want to progress to more some of like return to activity type of things, I would like to have him practice single leg balance and then practice catching a ball and tossing it back too. So I would have a PTA assist me with being right here to make sure he doesn't fall, and then I'm just going to have him, okay, go ahead and stand on one leg and then toss it back. Good. So then we're going to do this for about 30 seconds on each leg too and practice that. Okay, so how were those?
Yeah, it's good. A little challenging, but good.
Okay, we'll just keep challenging that balance so then we can progress it and make sure it's back to where it was before you experienced hitting your head and everything too. Okay, so I'll go ahead and move these legs back, or chairs back. So now that we've gone through everything, I just kind of want to talk to you about the exercises I'm going to send home with you. So earlier we talked about getting into a walking program. So I want you to go walk for 10 minutes at a time, and then I want you to try to do that at least 2 to 3 times a day, just depending on how you're feeling. Make sure you're not getting a lot of dizziness and everything. If you are, then just let me know the next time you come in and stuff. But just light walking, make sure you're not running, and then also make sure you're not lifting any weights either. We don't want to get into that yet. So just walking for now.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you some balance exercises to do at home. So just like we did with our single leg balance, I want you to do just the normal one, keeping your eyes open. And then I want you, do you have a pillow at home you could use?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to stand on a pillow, keeping your eyes open as well, and just balance. And I want you to hold those for 30 seconds at a time. And then I'm going to have you do them in 3 sets. So 30 seconds on one leg, 30 seconds on the other, and do that 3 times.
Okay.
And then do that twice a day if you can. And then the last one that I want to have you do is, if you want to practice it with me, you can.
Okay.
So just to get back to some more basketball specific things, but also challenging your balance, I want you to do a single leg stance. And then on the opposite hand, I assume you have a basketball at home you can use?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I just want you to practice dribbling a basketball, just making sure your eyes are up and you're not looking around too much so we're not getting dizzy.
Okay.
And then I want you to switch, and I want you to do that with the other leg too.
Okay.
So during all those exercises where you're doing single leg, I want you to make sure you're standing next to a countertop or a table or a chair, something stable. That way, if you were to lose your balance, you have something to hold on to and grab to. And then don't forget you can use those toe touch strategies and stepping if you ever lose your balance too.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you feel about everything we went through today?
I think it sounds good.
Okay, so we'll just keep progressing that so you can get back to playing basketball.
Thanks.